Hi there, welcome to my Chapman Stick Learning Journal. This is journal entry number 11, completion of week 10. So it turned out to be a fairly exciting week, lots of little things to mention. Let's start with Requiem. In my lesson, Greg mentioned that my transitions between the different segments of the song could use some work. So I tried to work on those. Basically, I guess the way I interpreted that was that there were parts that you could tell I was attacking, and then shelving, and then moving on to the next one, and they didn't flow smoothly together. So let's see if I've got anything going on there. I screwed it up at that point, and that's probably far enough. Wasn't going to go much farther anyway. So hopefully at least the first two sections were a little bit smoother. Definitely need to work on still the hand independence. I know that I've got a break going every time I repeat this loop on the left hand. I know that, so I'm going, it's just like really pronounced, like there's this pause, and I need to smooth that out. But for right now, it's a way that my brain is sort of calibrating itself. So anyway, still working on that part, but hopefully the first two parts sounded decent, even with my flubs. Okay, second part, last week I talked about my left wrist having some issues, and Greg straightened me out, quite literally, on that one. It was because my wrist was oriented like that and like that when I was playing. And the trick is, and I practiced in front of a mirror for a while, and I'm still not falling into it immediately because I tend to bend the wrist outward like that too much. So I'm definitely getting better. I'm slipping into it more quickly, but it's not instantaneous the way I'd like it to be. So the other thing that I've noticed though when I do this is just that I feel like I'm doing a stretch, like if you were going to work out for an exercise, to go running or something. So I feel like I'm stretching in my arm here, and I don't know if that's good or bad, or if I really am just stretching, and eventually that muscle will loosen up and that position will become very natural. But anyway, pain during that, gone. It was that simple. You really should not feel pain during playing the stick. It's an incredibly ergonomic and comfortable to play instrument if you do it right. So that's two things. Thing three, so I worked through some scales and modes, just sort of playing them and getting used to sort of finding my way in between them out of order. And that came in handy tonight, because the really exciting thing was that one of my coworkers, who is actually studying, I think he's working part-time and studying full-time because he's got a really heavy class load at the Berklee School of Music, and he's enrolled. Got in, for a voice concentration, but he's also got some ability at the guitar and is sort of still working on that. So we had a little jam session together, and he basically, played a chord progression while I tried to sort of do that the thing on the major scale. So it sounds a lot better with the chord progression going in the background, but I'll try to sort of find a groove here. Pretend you got it was like 1, 2, 5 going on in the background. So. So anyway, I was concentrating pretty hard. What I could sort of filter through, it sounded pretty decent, particularly for the first time. And it was actually really exciting for me because I hadn't really planned on playing with another musician for many years, even probably down the road, until I was really confident in my solo ability. And it was kind of, it opened up a lot of application for some of the things, particularly the scales and modes, that hadn't quite made, I mean, they made sense, but they didn't have their full application in my head solidly. Because here, when I'm talking to another musician, they clearly come in. They're very important. You need to talk about where you're playing. And then also just the fact that, when you're jamming, that's an easy way to sound decent, is to just sort of run around scales and jump around them. Ideally, I didn't, but once I get good enough, I will. And so, yeah, I mean, it really hammered home the importance of working on that, and it gave me a way to think about them that I think will help me learn them. In more than a, okay, so this one you sharp the fourth, and here, okay, so you're flatting the second and like the fifth, I don't know. I mean, I don't have them memorized yet, but the different modes, but definitely we'll work on them, and I will work on them now with a different sort of concept in mind. So the one thing that I came out with, though, was I haven't done whole lot more with my left hand. So I know that there are lots of good bass exercises in the stick book, so I'd like to spend some time, or I will spend some time working on those, because I felt like if I had a bass groove going there along with running up and down the scale, that would have been really awesome. So hopefully I can pull that off for next week. But let's not get our hopes up. Give me 2 weeks. All right. So that's it. See you around.